We see solid demand from travelers around the world, in particular in Asia. There is a rebound with China and Japan re-entering the global travel market. And we are investing into marketing to prepare for the summer. So we are expecting a strong summer season with travelers trying to mitigate the price increases by comparing more prices, but also by going to slightly different and cheaper destinations and cutting their trips short slightly.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? As I was combing through the report this morning, I thought the line around advertisers shifting their focus from volume to profitability was very interesting, and the suggestion that that's led to some softness on your auction, particularly in the Americas, caught my eye. Explain to us, as that obviously relates to your cost per click model, what that may imply in terms of the strength of this segment over the rest of the year.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think what you can see in the market is that there is uncertainty, and in times of uncertainty, investors put a premium on profitability and discount growth. And as long as the uncertainty in the market persists, I think that will stay. What that means to us and to any advertisement business is obviously that there is more conservative spending and more cost consciousness in their advertisement spend. That's what we are doing when we're advertising as well, and that's what our big partners are doing. So yeah, I think as long as the sentiment persists, this dynamic will persist as well.
Could I ask you, is that very specific to the Americas, or are you actually seeing that in other regions you operate in as well?
I would say it's not so much by the region, it's more by the type of advertiser. So those that are listed are obviously more influenced by the sentiment in the stock market, and those that are private are less influenced. But the general sentiment, I would say, across all businesses is on profitability right now.
Axel, when you take a look at the various different markets that you serve, how even are they? Because it feels like consumers are behaving slightly differently in different parts of the world.
Yeah, so I guess the key thing that is very different in the markets is the timing of the recovery out of COVID. So when you're looking at the Americas, last year we've seen pretty much normal environment already. Europe was not normal. There you still had restrictions last year. And Asia is obviously now showing the biggest year-over-year recovery because the big countries in Asia have only pretty recently lifted all their restrictions. And this wave of traveling that we've seen in 21, 22 in the Western world is now happening in Asia.
So in the segment around hotels versus alternative accommodation, we've seen how this has just changed over time post-COVID. Investors are spent up in a way. You've just pointed to a slight change in consumption patterns. Now, how does alternative accommodation away from hotels start to fare at this point in the cycle?
Yeah, so what we've seen early on in the pandemic is that there was an absolute surge in alternative accommodations. A lot of travelers were much more comfortable in renting full places. With the market recovering over the last 18 months, we've seen a more normal development because hotels can obviously ramp up supply much more quickly than apartments can. But there is a trend towards alternative accommodation that we've seen before the pandemic, and we expect that also to continue.
So Axel, as you talk about some of the cheaper destinations coming back into focus, what are the hot areas to travel to in 2023?
Yeah, I guess what we are seeing on the platform, and that would also be my advice to travelers, to go for a similar experience but slightly cheaper destination. So as an example, we see that Spain is actually is softer in the demand, whereas Turkey is actually gaining share. So it's a summer warm destination with beautiful beaches, beautiful hotels, but it's slightly cheaper. If you're more up for a city trip, we're seeing that London is losing some share, Istanbul is gaining share. And so again, same thing, metropolitan city, rich cultural experience, great restaurants, etc. And that would be my advice for the summer, to basically recover some of the price increases by being a bit more flexible on timing and on destination.